Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. What is up? You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Sunday, January 21st, and we are standing at the Polderbaan today, being used for arrivals. At the moment, the only runway in use for arrivals. We're waiting for the first airplane of the show. Air Canada Dreamliner should be somewhere to the north. I think I can just about make it out. Quick rundown of the current status quo. The METAR shows a 19 knot wind with gusting to 29, nearly headwind for the runway we are standing next to. The temperature is 2 degrees above zero. Broken clouds at 1,900 feet. No significant changes in the upcoming 2 hours expected. Runway usage, a normal pattern for wind from the south. Upcoming 3 hours, the weather radar supposedly is going to stay free of precipitation, and there are a lot of big birds coming this way. We have 1, 2, 3 747s, the A340, the A380, and here we have another 747. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 747s, the A340 and the A380, all coming to Amsterdam and expected between now and 12:30 to 1 o'clock or something. A very good morning to everybody who has tuned in already. Hope you're doing well. This is Air Canada Flight 808. 7878 Dreamliner arriving from Toronto, Canada. Has been on the way now for 6 hours and 30 minutes. 8-year-old airplane, first flight January 2015. Behind it, a 787-10 Dreamliner. And behind it, Aero Mexico, being early today. Meanwhile, good morning to all viewers in the chat already. Dirk, JD, Michael, YZ, Maria, Jimmy Pirate, Mr. Banana, Thomas, Gerard, good morning one and all. Eva, goedemorgen. Aphrodite, goedemorgen. Let's see. Wolfie, goedemorgen. Leo, goedemorgen. Erik, Koen, goedemorgen. Dirk, Morgan, Jan-Willem, Patrick, Tina, good morning. Happy Sunday. Michael, Siegfried, Burak, Richard, Evan, good top of the morning, good sir. The first butt shot is also in the house, in the making I should say. Good morning Francesca. Oh, overshot. Trying to multitask, reading the chat and also filming. Michael Nobes, good morning. Carola, goedemorgen. Bernd, goedemorgen. Sally, goedemorgen. Ling Ling, goedemorgen. Clear to land, morgen. Peter, goedemorgen. Robin, goedemorgen kerel. Vinny TV Adventures, goedemorgen kerel. Right, I think I think I'm caught up with the chat. Excellent. Now, I'm in good company over here. We also have the one and only pilot Sander making compilations over here. Dutchies will know his content probably. He's been at it for years now. There's also some plowing taking place. A lot of seagulls in the field looking for worms, I think. Probably. flight 758 was this 787-10 Dreamliner returning from Panama City. Goedemorgen Piet, Betty, Mario, morgen, Mr. Banana, goedemorgen, Marius, goedemorgen, met Siem en Suus, goedemorgen alle drie. Liju, good morning. Blackbirds, good morning. Well, there you see it. Massive amounts of birds. They're plowing the field, I think. So it's probably Wormfest 2024 over here, I'm imagining. METAR says 19 knot wind with gusts up to 29. It doesn't feel like that just yet. Two Dreamliners moving away. Bit of waviness in the water. In terms of birds in the water, I think we only have Harry over there. Haven't seen the crow family members just yet. And it does feel a bit like I need to enable the heated gloves already. When setting up, you're always a bit busy and it provides a bit of warmth. When you're actually going to start filming, standing still, particularly your digits get cold quite rapidly, or at least mine do. Taking this moment to switch on all the heaters. Goedemorgen Marissa, engineer on board. Goedemorgen. Good morning. Waxa, tuning in from Munich. Morgen. Right. Got the heated stuff activated. There we go. More Dreamliners. This is KLM flight 606. Another 787-10 Dreamliner. This one returning from San Francisco. Flight time 9 hours 17 minutes as we speak. 3-year-old airplane. First flight January 2020. Martien, goedemorgen. Ricardo, goedemorgen kerel. Hadi Fabian. Any go-arounds so far? Fabian asks, no, not yet. Not a single one. I don't think we're going to see go-arounds today. Because the wind is blowing more or less directly in the direction of the runway heading. So it's mostly headwind today. Not a lot of crosswind, unfortunately. I still had digital zoom enabled from yesterday. Let's switch that off. Wrong menu item, digital zoom. There we go. Actually quite a sight to behold. You can also hear them. It's like a Hitchcock movie, but with seagulls. They're everywhere. Now, our next airplane is also arriving, Finnair A320, arriving from Helsinki. And it says in the bringing us together since 1923 livery. Well, I'm not seeing it on the picture on flight radar. Maybe it is text somewhere. Oh yeah, it is text. Oh, it's very subtle. Very subtle. Finnair, flight 1301, A320, returning from Helsinki. That is, normally speaking, around 2 hours away. Today the flight has taken 2 hours and 19 minutes so far. 20 years old. First flight August 2003. And good morning, Wolfgang. Oh, did it? Aeromexico already went around? Okay. Privet Ludmilla, good to see you again. Hope all is well. Daniel, good morning. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Eva asks about the ribs. The ribs are doing just fine. I consider them to be completely healed already. Still feel it a little bit when coughing or sneezing, but in actual practice, they're not hindering me at all anymore. Can go to the gym, go full strength, no issues. So I consider it having healed already. Just so many seagulls, it is incredible. Makes the crow family puts the crow family to shame with their low numbers. Right, well, more Dreamliners. Aeromexico flight 25 returning to Amsterdam from Mexico City. Flight 25, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, 9 hours and 20 minutes of flight time. 10-year-old airplane, first flight October 2013. And this is one of the carriers and airplane types that often use their reversers on landing. So let's look and listen, see if they maybe do that as well today. So despite the wind, not excessive crabbing, maybe just a little bit. But it is mostly headwind today. Oh, and Aeromexico was a very early abortion, turning away even before the North Sea Canal. That was well before being on the glide slope. Good morning, Chris. And Wendy, goedemorgen. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. Says we have evening already, so you must be living in one of the eastern parts of Russia then. Nick, good morning. Luca, good morning, ciao. Dutch Plane Spotter, goedemorgen. TV Dille, goedemorgen. Hadi Rob, goedemorgen. Right, next up is going to be El Al, flight 337, Boeing 737-900, returning from Tel Aviv. Visiting Amsterdam from Tel Aviv, I should say. Flight time 4 hours and 39 minutes so far. 7-year-old airplane, first flight February 2016. welcome to everybody else who has joined in the meanwhile. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. This is the Polderbaan runway 18 right. At the moment the only runway being used for arrivals, with wind blowing from the southwest to south. According to the meter, 19 knots with gusts up to 29. It doesn't feel like a 19 knot wind just yet. I'm also not feeling any gusts. But that's not to say that we're not going to get that. Particularly in the night from tonight to tomorrow, the wind is going to pick up. The majority of the wind, storm Isha, is going to pass over the British Isles. Goedemorgen Freddy, tuning in from Rotterdam, The Hague Airport. Kiano, good morning. Peter, goedemorgen. Daniel, goedemorgen. Intervloek, Spotter, good morning. Dronen, Oldies, guten morgen. Patrick Star, goedemorgen. Mr. Cole, good morning mate. Hope you're doing well. Electric gloves are working mate. Wouldn't have been able to hold out for so long yesterday and the days before without them. They are a necessary expense. Working a treat, by the way. Mr. Banana, good morning. And alright, it's 7 o'clock in the evening already where Ludmilla lives, so that is 9 hours of time difference. That's the same time difference between Amsterdam and Tokyo and Japan in general. So you're living on the far east side of Russia then. Without saying the name of your place of residence, we can deduce it by the hints you're giving us. Right, we have an airplane that is, for the first time, showing that there's a little bit of wind. KLM flight 1224, 737-800, returning home from Paris, Charles de Gaulle. Behind it is a Delta Airbus A330. I see a pair of lights over there. That's the bird controller. It stands out more when you stand here, the lights. Looks a bit more subtle on camera for some reason. Alright, now this is Delta Airlines flight 136, Airbus A330-300. Coming to Amsterdam from Detroit, Michigan, where it left from 7 hours and 3 minutes ago. The airplane is 6 years old. Its first flight was in March 2017. Behind it is going to be another Dreamliner from American, flight 204, visiting Amsterdam from Philadelphia. You can see it in the top left quadrant. As you guys can see, it is overcast, but it's not. Visibility to the north seems to be better already than it was yesterday for the majority of the stream. Only in the last hour did the sun come out more. Slowing down already. Are we going to see a butt shot of the A330? I think we are. The Ewald. Goedemorgen. Tuning in from South Africa. What's the current temperature over there, Ewald? Yesterday and the day before yesterday we heard Alvin complain about nearly 40 degrees Celsius in Sydney. You guys of course also have summer right now. Is it as searing hot over there as well? This is American Airlines flight 204, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, arriving from Philadelphia. I think it's also time to enable the image stabilizer once again. Had it disabled. Flight time from Philadelphia to where it is right now, 6 hours 16 minutes. And talking about sixes, this airplane is also 6 years old. First flight was in March 2017. Right, for those of you just tuning in, welcome to the show. Let me take you through the current situation. We are awaiting a couple of big birds. There are 2 747s already in Dutch airspace, and I think they were assigned to go to the center runway, so we might have to enable digital zoom to see them up close. We are still going to see them properly. We have the Surinam Airways A340 flying over the west of United Kingdom. And also a 747 is arriving from that direction. That is going to land. Those 2 are going to land on Polderbaan, nearly certainly. I say it carefully because you never know for sure. Flying in Estonian airspace and expected around 12:22 is another 747. And we are also expecting a very special livery, the destination Dubai. Special livery, Emirates flight 147, the A380 arriving from Dubai, expected around 12:30. We are standing over here, Polderbaan, which is, well, let's refresh, yeah. We are now in a situation with parallel arrivals. Let's also do a refresh of the ticker. 16 knot wind, 200 degrees. Let's first of all go back to the landing. Speedbird flight 430 arriving from London Heathrow. Our next airplane is going to be Turkish Airlines flight 1951. An Airbus A330-300 arriving from Istanbul. That's a journey that normally takes around 3 hours, and today 3 hours and 9 minutes, so that is still very much nominal. This airplane is 8 years old. Its first flight was in March 2015. Servus Herr Wolf, and good morning to Catherine. And also a big thank you to Catherine Green, who just became a member of the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you so much for choosing AMS Live. Hope you like it in the lounge. And be sure to use the custom emojis now at your disposal whenever you feel like it. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Catherine. Captain Eddie Bos, good evening, mate. Hope all is well over there in Indonesia. zo leuk. Mello, goedemorgen. More butt shots. That is the wind, which pushes up my camera if I don't fixate it. I was trying to paste the meter into the ticker while we are waiting the next airplane to arrive. And also update the runway usage, parallel arrivals, so arrivals 18C also needs to be added in the ticker. Where we had 19 knot wind with gusts to 29. It now is a 16 knot wind. Just the font size and paste. Taking you through the meter that is now appearing in the ticker. It's the weather from 8:55 Zulu time, that is 9:55 local time. The wind 60 knots from 200 degrees. Visibility is 9999 or 10 kilometers or more. We have broken clouds at 1700 feet. The temperature is 3 degrees Celsius. The dew point is -2 degrees Celsius. The air pressure is 1016 hectopascals and no significant changes in the upcoming 2 hours are expected. Our next airplane is an A320neo from EasyJet, flight 27840, arriving from London Stansted, where it left from 35 minutes ago. Probably had a bit of tailwind underway. New airplane, 1 year old, first flight December 2022, so it turned 1 last month. Yeah, camera is going all over the place a little bit due to the due to the image stabilizer. I'm going to shut it off again, see if we can manage. This was a little bit floaty, for lack of a better description. Right, back to unstabilized footage. KLM Airbus A330-200 arriving from Toronto, Canada. KLM flight 696. Flight time 6 hours and 46 minutes. The airplane is 17 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in July 2006. There's a 777 behind it, one of the Chinese triples. Also a very big thank you to Ewald, who celebrates 3 months of membership. He says thanks a lot. Well, thank you so much for your continued support there, Ewald. Hope you still like it in the lounge. If you don't, let me know. See if I can fix something up. The chairs should be comfy still, but do let me know if there's room for improvement. Thanks for your continued support, Ewald. Now, seagulls galore. I think the crow family is also flying in between. And as you guys can see, we have some plowing of the ground going on over here. So this is in fact Worm Fest 2024. I think the birds are expecting a feast, a meal, a protein-rich meal. China Southern Cargo 777 freighter arriving from Shanghai. Tippy Toey. Alright, another A330-200 is coming from KLM, flight 682, returning from Vancouver, Canada. The Canadian A330s are coming in. Glide slope shots not yet very much visible, even though it doesn't look very thick clouds. It's almost as if you can see some blue in between. It's also relatively bright still, brighter than it was yesterday. I think I get the feeling, even though it is overcast. Who knows, we might even get to see the sun. That would be something. So this is KLM flight 682, Airbus A330-200 returning from Vancouver, Canada. Flight time 8 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, and I think I am going to go back to the image stabilizer after all. Wind is mostly blowing from the south. These airplanes are landing from north to south. So on paper you would say it's mostly headwind, but you do see them crab. There is a crosswind component, even though it isn't excessive crabbing. It is a bit. Die Captain Cripple, goedemorgen. Nice to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Now, parallel arrivals have begun. Which reminds me to turn on the digital zoom for the occasion. A couple of 747s are expected to land at the center runway. You can see the smoke blowing from right to left and away from us. So there is a little bit of crosswind, but it is still mostly headwind. No more ice remnants in the water. That all melted away. Just where I have been standing yesterday, a few icy remnants in the grass mostly free of ice in the meantime. just a shitload of birds over there. With the ground getting plowed over. Probably quite a few worms that are becoming in reach of the birds over there. Embraer 175 is coming in, KLM flight 1954, returning from Zurich in Switzerland. Flight time 1 hour 15 minutes. 6-year-old airplane, first flight January 2018. That are arriving from the east should be nearing the center runway. I think I have it in sight. This is Silkway West Airlines flight 209, a 747-400 that is visiting Amsterdam from the city of Baku. This airplane departed from Baku 5 hours and 10 minutes ago. 22 years old, this airplane. The first flight was in March 2001. In the meantime, our Boeing 737-700 is approaching Polderbaan, KLM flight 1002, returning from London Heathrow. I'm going to stay with the 747. Let's apply a little bit of digital zoom. Not too much because it is windy. Despite the image stabilizer, still shaky footage. Next up, another 747 arriving from Nairobi, Cargolux. Let's see. And another ambulance behind me. There it is, the next 747. Arriving from the east. Number 2 of 4, I believe we are going to see until 12:30 to 1 o'clock or something. This is Cargolux flight 2616, arriving from Nairobi, Boeing 747-400. Left Nairobi 8 hours and 38 minutes ago. The airplane is 22 years old, first flight July 2001. Right now, this is quite far zoomed in, and let me show you just how far zoomed in we were. This is fully zoomed out. And these are seagulls, hungry, looking for worms after the tractor is plowing the field. Now, ladies and gentlemen, get out your playtime emojis, it is that time again. The next airplane is an A320neo arriving from Reykjavik, flight 460, flight time 2 hours and 37 minutes. Also a big thank you to KLM of Melbourne, Australia, celebrating 3 months of membership. Have to switch back to had to go back to the laptop and delve through a lot of messages. Chat is going quickly and I was very busy following the 747, which takes a lot of concentration. Requires a lot of concentration. And thank you so much for your continued support there, mate. Also a big thank you and warm welcome to Jerry, who writes, "My hot tub is warmer today, glide slope Queens." Absolutely, my friend. Happy to hear that the hot tub is a bit warmer today than it was yesterday. Breaking the ice to take a bath is not the best way to take a bath. Now, those seagulls are very noisy and busy. They know where to be immediately after the tractor. Freshly plowed land, that's where the worms are at. Or at least I think that's where they think they can find them. I'm not sure if they can find them, but alright, now in terms of quad squad, the number 2 is the A340. Being preceded by an Embraer 190 from KLM, flight 1926, arriving from Geneva. Where is the A340? Can we see it already? A closer look on my laptop screen to see what you guys are seeing. It's always a bit better than watching on a 3 to 3.5 inch camera screen, but I'm still not seeing it, unfortunately, but we will see it soon enough. Embraer 190 returning from Geneva, KLM flight 1926, flight time 1 hour and 17 minutes, 13-year-old airplane, first flight August 2010. So if you just joined the channel, good morning, one and all. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy, we're standing here at Polderbaan. It's a bit windy, the wind is blowing from the south-southwest. This is an A340-300 from Surinam Airways, KLM flight 994. We saw 2 queens already land on runway center. There are 2 more queens coming in, and the A380 in the destination Dubai special livery as well. The entire quad squad arriving before, what is it, 1 o'clock or something. Surinam Airways A340-300 arriving from Paramaribo. Flight time 8 hours 41 minutes. The airplane is 15 years old. Its first flight was in April 2008. Marissa says the Corendon and Delta A350 are both coming to 1-8 right. That's good news. Not too surprised by that since they are coming from the west. Big question is, are we going to see the A380 on this runway or not? Shot to boot. Another perk that we got yesterday as well. Now, A massive big thank you to Jerry, who just now gifted 10 memberships. If you are one of the recipients, don't forget to say thank you to Jerry. Very kind of you and very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much, Jerry. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those 10 new members. If you are a new member, be sure to use the custom emojis now at your disposal whenever you feel like it. No time to waste. Our next airplane is coming in. It is a 747-400 arriving from Miami, Florida. Cargolux flight 94K. Doesn't say the flight number. Flight time 6 hours 56 minutes to get here from Miami. This particular airplane, 17 years old, first flight December 2006. Let's look and listen. That's 2/3 of the quad squad in one shot. Now, if you're liking what you're seeing and you haven't done so already, don't forget to drop a like. If you want to stay updated of upcoming live streams such as these, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Is blocking our view of the A340, damn it. There we go. Alrighty. Time to go back to the north. This is TUI flight 395, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, arriving from Curaçao, Willemstad. 8 hours and 1 minute of flight time under its belt for this particular flight. It has been flying now in total for 9 years. The first flight was in November 2014. Alrighty, our next airplanes. or just the one? Let's see. Just the one? Not seeing the number 2 just yet. Let's see. Now, glide slope shots still out of the question, unfortunately. This is KLM flight 1516 that we are now looking at. An Embraer 175 arriving from Norwich. 31 minutes of flight time. 5-year-old airplane, first flight April 2018. Behind it is going to be an A320 from EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick, and behind it now number 3 is the Corendon A350, also returning from Curaçao. And Tarum once again sending a 737, Marissa is saying. It's either that or the A318. Yesterday it was the 737 as well. Now, wasn't that Aer Lingus A320 in the retro livery beautiful? Really wish that they did that more often. Or maybe a good idea for KLM to also bring out an airplane in a retro livery. So pretty. A lot of people would appreciate that. Little Embraer butt shot. And then it is time to go back to the north with the camera. EasyJet flight 28679, Airbus A320 returning from London Gatwick. 43 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 9 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in 2014 in April. Alrighty, here it is, our next airplane, the Corendon A350. Hybrid livery, World to Fly / Corendon. Dedicated, flying between Curaçao and Amsterdam. At the moment this airplane has been flying for 8 hours and 14 minutes. It's a brand new airplane. First flight was in May 2023. So we're looking at an infant basically. The Tarum 737-800 behind it. And congratulations and thank you Daniel for your support there. 1 month of membership and he writes, good idea, a retro livery. So hopefully KLM is listening and are also going to be doing something with it. KLM retro liveries. Why haven't they done so already? Now I'm not seeing any traffic coming into the center runway anymore. Oh, and you can nicely see how it is giving. How the pilot flying is playing with the throttle. Could see some exhaust gas emanating from the engines. You can clearly see it, or at least I can see it on my screen. Hopefully you guys can pick it up as well. tidy butt shot in the making. Here we go again. That's a very good idea there, Austrian Wolf. Retro on a new A350 would be really cool. That is absolutely true. Well, KLM, if you're listening in. And also, glide slope shot. The first of hopefully more. Time on flight 361. Boeing 737-800, arriving from Bucharest. Flight time 2 hours 45 minutes. 10-year-old airplane. First flight March 2013. Well, let's just say it is safe on. It landed safely on the ground. Me myself says Untitled Jet A321 Istanbul to Amsterdam, squawking 7700 after takeoff and prepares to turn back to Istanbul. Okay. Maybe a bird strike or something. Hopefully nothing too serious. Thanks for the update, me myself. Next up is going to be an airplane flying for KLM. But it is a Transavia airplane. In fact, it is the previous livery, the previous standard livery, with the rainbow around the front part of the fuselage. Flying as KLM Flight 1126, returning from Copenhagen, a Boeing 737, touching down after an hour and 4 minutes of flight, 20 years old, first flight February 2003. Eva says, I would first make sure you get a heated tent and then start about the old KLM livery. But KLM livery is schooieren bij KLM, and the heated tent is something I think Schiphol needs to provide. So we can do two schooieracties at the same time. Right, it's another A350. It's looking us right in the face. Delta Airlines flight 74. It's an A350-900 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Left Atlanta 7 hours and 3 minutes ago. The airplane 4 years old. First flight February 2019. Unfortunately not a butt shot in the making. I was hoping for it, but in vain. Next up is the BVD 777-300 ER in the SkyTeam livery. KLM Flight 598 returning from Cape Town, South Africa. This airplane left Cape Town 11 hours and 9 minutes ago. The airplane is 14 years old. Its first flight was in August 2009. Aviation A320 Neo arriving from Athens behind it somewhere. I think the airplanes really need to turn on their landing lights for us to see them. Hadi Liewe, goedemorgen. Good to see you. Goeiemorgens deze morgen. Hope all is well. Feels like the wind is picking up a little bit again. Now, if you just joined us, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan runway 18 right. At the moment, I think the only runway once again for landing. Let's have a quick look at the current status quo. First of all, this is the METAR, the weather. Let me refresh it and have a look and see. 18 knot wind from 200 degrees is the current wind. Oh, was trying to copy paste it so that I can put it in the ticker. We have few clouds at 1,500 feet. We have broken clouds at 1,700 feet. The temperature is 3 degrees Celsius and it is 1,016 hectopascals of air pressure right now. Once again confirmed, Polderbaan, we are standing approximately over here. Currently the only runway being used for arrivals. And supposedly it's going to stay dry, and we are still awaiting a couple of heavies right now. The Emirates A380 in the special destination Dubai livery is nearing the Austrian border from Hungary, and there's also a 747 arriving from China that is also expected around 12:30. This is Aegean A320 Neo arriving from Athens. Right, time for a Greek butt shot. Goes well with a Greek salad. And then someone had a new nose. It looked like they they tore it off a different airplane and thought, well, let's just put it on this one. Runway 24 being used for departures. So the next airplane coming this way is number 190 KLM Flight 916 arriving from Southampton. And while it is approaching, let me also update the ticker with the METAR I copied just now. Last day of relatively cold weather. As the day progresses, the temperature is expected to increase, reaching double digits the next 24 hours. wind is also picking up, mostly overnight tonight and tomorrow in the early morning. (737-800) is behind this Embraer 190. We can already see the raccoon look. It is a German Airways Embraer flying for KLM, arriving from Southampton. Flight time 43 minutes. The airplane is 17 years old. Its first flight was in January 2007. If you're picking up bird noises, I will show you in a minute. Farmland next to me is being plowed over, and there's an insane amount of seagulls over there trying to get some worms out of it. And the amount of seagulls over here is just insane. This is a KLM flight 934 arriving from Dublin, Ireland. This too is a rental from Transavia. This is the current standard livery. So it is a KLM airplane, but it is a Transavia livery. Returning from Dublin, Ireland, 737-800, flight time an hour precisely, and the airplane is 22 years old. Haven't seen firefighters here today yet. Not sure if they're going to do a round today. The windsock over there indicating the wind. Everything still seems to be closed over there. Maurice says that it looks like the farmer is sowing the land. Okay. Well, in that case, I hope that the seagulls aren't eating all the seeds. That's a very nice call for action by Jerry. And thank you for your super chat. He says, please show me your favorite AMS Live emoji. Well, members of the channel, show Jerry your favorite emoji. I'm curious what it is for you guys. I have to say, there are quite a few that I like. Not sure if picking a favorite is easy. Well, in that case, the seed container must be this bit on the front, and then there's probably a hose connecting to the back, showing the seeds as the ground gets plowed over. Just the amount of seagulls over here. First time I've seen it since I have been streaming here. Then again, maybe it happened a year ago. A year ago I was in Italy skiing. This year I'm a bit later in the season, but maybe it happened when I was away. Anyway, this is KLM flight 1422, returning from Birmingham, Airbus Boeing 737-800. Hey Mr. Meister, goedemorgen. Good morning. KLM flight 1422, 737-800, returning from Birmingham, touching down after 14 minutes of flight. 9-year-old airplane. Its first flight was in March 2014. Right, also some people over there on the other side. That looks like a VW, and is that a Tesla on the left hand side? Next up is another 737-800 arriving from Manchester, KLM flight 1072. Flight time 42 minutes. 15-year-old airplane, first flight January 2008. Now Lifeline 2, thank you so much for your super chat there. Lifeline 2 writes, always nice to watch the stream. Well, it's always nice to have you here. Hopefully you're not busy saving lives and it's quiet on the life-saving front. Maurice says that farmers usually are not happy with the seagulls. Yeah, well, that is understandable. If they're eating the seeds that they have just planted, then that is basically just bird feed. Now, what do you guys notice about this airplane? Again, I see a couple of lights over there. That is the bird controller coming this way. They might as well have taken the day off because all the birds are in the field next to me. Not really much for them to do here. Maybe we'll get a wave. Now our next airplane is approaching. According to flight radar, I'm not seeing anything just yet. Should be a Vueling A320. Oh. Oh. I'm hearing a siren, but it's not from this ambulance. Where is it coming from? Well, can't see it anymore. Just a coincidence that there was another ambulance passing by without sirens. I do see an airplane, but it doesn't have the landing lights on, and that makes searching it a bit more tricky. But I found it. Here we go. Vueling flight 8369, Airbus A320, arriving from Asturias, where it left from 1 hour and 50 minutes ago. This airplane is 10 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in January 2013. Embraer 190 behind it, arriving from Nuremberg. Question is, can we see them together? There was a moment where we were able to see two airplanes in one shot. There was a glide slope shot, but it was just the one, I think, or maybe two. Nothing to see. Now, I'm not a pilot, but it is very uncommon to see an airplane land without landing lights. I'm not sure if that's allowed, or if they forgot to check it, or if the lights are dysfunctioning. If anybody knows more and can chime in, please do. Are they saving energy, electricity? Right, and thank you for the update, Marissa. The remainder of the quad squad, the A380, is estimated to arrive around 12:26, and 2 minutes before it, the Air China Cargo 747. Yesterday we got lucky. We got to see the A380 land at this runway. Now I'm not going to risk jinxing anything, so I'm going to keep quiet. But fingers crossed. German Airways, Embraer 190 flying for KLM. This one arriving from Nuremberg. KLM flight 1884. Flight time 59 minutes. The airplane is 16 years old. It's just as old as Chucky, except it doesn't have chocolate on the livery. Haven't seen Chucky in a while now. Then again, the Orange Pride is also an airplane I haven't seen in a while. However, we did get to see the PHBVD already. Also a very nice airplane. For some reason I think that the Sky Team looks better on the 777-300 than it does on the Embraers. Which is weird because it is the same livery. Okay. Maurice says that he thinks pilots are obligated to have landing lights on. If that's true, then hopefully the authorities won't be seeing my footage. Right, there is a 737 arrival from Paris Charles de Gaulle flying downwind, according to flight radar, somewhere over there. I'm looking to see if I can see anything, but no dice. We're going to have to wait until it is on the glide slope and coming this way, preferably with lights on. It is like a cloud of birds. Just so many. And you're right, Dirk. Tower could see they had no lights on. Was it also mentioned over the ATC? Question is ATC going to squeal? And who is going to sanction them? Is that Schiphol? Is that Vueling themselves? Is it the Dutch aviation authorities? So many questions. Oh, I see a bird and a bird controller. One of the VWs. Personally like the rugged appearance of the Raptor Rangers or Ranger Raptors better. And goedemorgen Frank, good to see you again, mate. Read back the chat yesterday, missed your joke yesterday about Chucky. When he is all alone at the gate, it's Chocolonely. Tony Chocolonely. Mate, you have a creative mind. Make some nice associative jokes on a regular basis. Keep them coming. Right, our next airplane, Embraer 175 KLM flight 1188, returning from Bergen. Flight time 1 hour and 23 minutes. 7-year-old airplane, first flight July 2016. En goedemorgen Marco. Hey Martin, goedemorgen. And good morning to everyone else who has joined us in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy, this is Polderbaan runway 18 right, at the moment the only runway being used for arrivals. There is a bit of wind, blowing at the moment. A lot of electricity being generated by the windmills today. Storm Isha, it's going to pass over the United Kingdom mostly, and tonight. But the wind is picking up, preceding her arrival. The Netherlands probably not going to get real storm, but definitely a bit more wind. Also warmer temperatures. There's the Crow family. And here's KLM flight 1188. Now already we saw a good chunk of the quad squad that was also coming in today. We've seen 2 747-400s land on the center runway. We saw 1 747 land on Polderbaan, and it was following the A340 from Surinam. They both landed back to back. The A380 is still expected around 12:30 or so, and roughly around the same time a 747 is also arriving. security vehicle over there. I think Securitas or something. Officially, it's not allowed to park over there, so not sure if the people we saw earlier over there got chased away by the security guard. Now, all morning we've had a lot of birds in the field over there. Farmer is busy sowing, or at least plowing the land, probably sowing. And all the seagulls that live in the Netherlands have congregated to this particular field to get some food, fresh food. Worms combined with seeds, probably. Fibrous and protein rich dinner. Well, lunch, I should say. Well, breakfast. Our next airplane also coming this way. Big ass engines, no ailerons, no winglets. It is an E2 Embraer 195. This is KLM flight 1792 that we are looking at. Returning home from Munich, the south of Germany, Bavaria. Flight time 1 hour 13 minutes. The airplane is a year old. And next month in February it's going to turn 2. It began flying in February 2022. Behind it is going to be an Embraer. I keep mixing up the airplane types as if KLM doing that isn't enough already with their flight numbers. Now, not this one, this is just a countdown flight number, the number 2. KLM flight 765, Airbus A330-200 arriving from Bonaire. Can we see it already? Well, I'm struggling to see it both visually and on camera. Unless they turn on the lights, I don't think... Oh wait, now I do see it. Yeah, only vaguely. Dave asks if I am drinking behind the camera. Oops. You caught me. Drinking water though. Drinking water. Oh, waving pilots. Did I miss something? I'm not. That's the downside of using my 3.5-inch camera screen. I miss details such as that if that occurs. If I do have the time, I often watch back the streams, primarily because I missed a lot of messages in the chats these days. Sometimes catch pilots waving, which I didn't see at the time of filming. Not sure if that happened, but always nice to see. Either way, this is the no, not the 737. It is KLM flight 765, the A330-200 arriving from Bonaire. Touching down after 8 hours and 14 minutes of flight. And then he says, water, that's what they all say. So even that is something you guys see through. Yeah, no, I have vodka in my flask. Gotta keep the juices flowing, right? Vodka in one pint and Jägermeister in the other. Hopefully I won't fall into the water right of me. Right, another 737 from KLM, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, flight 1230. Okay, so they're separating. No longer a couple. And that is something I did not know. Does make sense. Frank says vodka translated means water. Firewater. This is Iberia Express, flight 3722, arriving from Madrid, Airbus A320, flight time 2 hours and 15 minutes. "16 years old, the first flight of this airplane was in October 2007. Goedemorgen, Sparta Rotterdam. Right, Iceland Air Max 8 is also coming, number 3, preceded by a 737-800 from KLM arriving from Berlin. It's been a while since we saw 757s and 767s from Iceland Air. Which is a shame, because I think... Well, no, I know for a fact that they are on one of the few operators that still fly them to Amsterdam. In fact, the 757 I think only visits Amsterdam when it is from Iceland Air. Now, of course, Latam Cargo still flies the 767, but that's cargo. Well, wondering if something is going on that I don't know about, because there were a couple of people filming here earlier and now they've all gone. Boeing 737-800, KLM flight 1822. Right, a glide slope shot. It's back. When they have the lights on, we can see them. This airplane returning from Berlin, where it left from an hour and 8 minutes ago. 4-year-old airplane, first flight April 2019. Rick says the 757 Aurora livery flew over your head like 30 minutes ago. Such a shame they use the 737 MAX now. It's a shame that it is also overcast and that we weren't able to see it. And not only, I mean, the 737 MAX 8 in itself is okay-ish. I mean, as long as the doors don't fall out or it disintegrates in any other way, shape or form. But I particularly don't like the new livery from Iceland Air, I should say. Don't know why they would resort to going for such a dime in a dozen. I mean, I think it looks a lot like Transavia, but then in blue instead of green. The name of the operator on the side, a little logo on the tail. Probably cheaper in terms of paint. Now, number 175 up next, returning from Aalborg, and after that the A321neo from JetBlue, arriving from Boston, Massachusetts. Big picture wise, this is what it looks like to the west. It is overcast basically. Looking up, it is overcast, but it's definitely not as thick as it was yesterday in the beginning of the stream. Looking north, looking east, looking south. Hey, yellow pickup truck, but not a bird controller. It does have traffic cones like bird control vehicles do as well. Anyway, is JetBlue already visible? Let me peek behind me on the laptop screen. I'm not seeing it. We'll see it soon enough. First up, KLM flight 1330. Embraer 175 returning from Aalborg, where it left an hour and 8 minutes ago from. Six-year-old airplane, first flight January 2017. Wind's actually calming down a little bit, it feels like. Temperature is still quite chilly. Let me see if I can do an update of the meter, or at least have a look with you. But first we can see that the 747 we're awaiting is flying over Denmark. The A380 in the destination Dubai special livery today has entered German airspace. Is expected in an hour from now. Let's refresh the meter. What does it say? 15 knot wind, 200 degrees, so it is actually stable. Only briefly did we have 19 knot wind with gusts to 29. Few clouds at 1,100 feet, broken clouds at 1,300 feet, and the temperature is 3 degrees Celsius. Runway usage while we are at it, let's refresh. Status quo. We are standing over here along the Polderbaan. Currently the only runway being used for arrivals. I'll update the ticker in a minute. Let's first go back to the landing of the A321neo from JetBlue, arriving from Boston, Massachusetts. brakes squeaking like they're from the Embraers. And a nice butt shot to boot. You can just see through those engines beautifully. Now if you're liking what you're seeing and you haven't done so already, don't forget to drop a like. If you like booty shots like these, make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you want to stay updated of upcoming live streams in the future, make sure that you turn on notifications when you do. Right, let's update the ticker with the meter that I copied just now. And runway usage was still the same. Here we go. Let's quickly turn back. There is another airplane coming in. Embraer 190. Just look at the winglets and you can see right away this is an Embraer 190. It is KLM flight 1342 arriving from Billund. There's the Embraer, the Embraer squeaky brake. Richard asks, Koude voeten boy, do you have cold feet? I don't. I'm wearing ski socks over my regular socks, just like how I am wearing a ski pants under my rain pants, so layering is essential. Beautiful Kestrel hanging still right before us, so we have a nice profile shot of it. Bigger, more outward facing winglets, i.e. this is an Embraer 175. KLM flight 1724, in fact, returning from Brussels. 88 nautical miles this airplane has flown right now. Why on earth do they need an airplane for that? I mean, I'm all pro aviation and all, but Dirk says, boy, those are sharklets, not winglets. Okay, what is the difference between the two? Always up for learning new stuff. Now, I'm going to enable digital zoom. Let's see if we can get a bit of a more close-up view of the pilots as they pass by over here. Particularly these smaller airplanes. The cockpit is more at our level, not higher up, making it easier to see them. Let's do that on this occasion. Another Embraer 190 KLM flight 1154. Returning from Gothenburg, touching down after an hour and 25 minutes of flight. 8-year-old airplane, first flight December 2015. Oh, challenging, keeping up the speed. Yeah, that was a poor first effort. Nice little butt shot. Sharklets look like the tail on sea life on their back. Okay, but that means you mean protrusion both above and below the horizontal part of the wing. In that case, they were definitely winglets, because on the Embraer 175 and 190, there's only things pointing upward, nothing pointing downward. So I think they are winglets then. The A320 has sharklets. They have protrusions, vertical protrusions up and above and below the wing. And also scimitars. Aeolus Capital chimes in, and that is what you have on the Max, the 737 Max. Okay, well, that's very informative, guys. Thank you so much. Here we see only protrusions to the upper end, so I would call these winglets then. I'm not seeing something stick out on the bottom side. Meanwhile, over in the field, I'm surprised that they haven't eaten enough yet. They have been doing this now since I came here, and that's almost 2 hours now. No, over 2 hours already. No, around 2 hours. I think I'm also hearing another siren. Not seeing anything just yet. Right, let's have another go at filming the pilots. This is German Airways flying for KLM, arriving from Newcastle, Embraer 190, KLM flight 958. Captain Willie is not on board, or not the pilot flying on this flight today. It seems like additional challenge. No, this is definitely asking too much. Won't be doing that again. That looked too uneven. Sorry for that. Thought it was nice to try, but maybe on a day with less wind. Now Rick is also chiming in with the jokes. If Kate Winslet is on a plane, we can call her Kate Winglet. Definitely right. And also a big thank you to you all for 500 likes, which prompted JD to gift 5 memberships just now. Thank you so much for that, JD. Totally unnecessary, but very much appreciated nonetheless. If you are one of the 5 recipients of the memberships JD just now gifted, don't forget to say Dankeschön. And thank you so much for that, JD, once again. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Those 5 new members. Be sure to use the custom emojis at your disposal now, whenever you feel like it, whether it is appropriate or not. They are there for you to use. I checked yesterday and we were at 630 members, I believe. The next vacant slot for an additional emoji becomes available at 700 members. I already thought of one. In fact, I already made one from when it is windy. A windsock with a certain blue pill as a background. We'll have to wait a bit before we can use it, but we are getting there. And in F1, also the shark fin. Well, it's getting confusing for me. Maybe someone can make a nice chart with the different schematics of what is called what and send it to me over the email. Then I can upload it in the community page and we can all use that as a reference for future reference. I'm happy to say that there's also another heavy coming in after this particular airplane, which is another Embraer 190 from KLM. This one returning from Leeds, KLM flight 1546. Flight time 42 minutes. The airplane 10 years old. First flight January 2014. Alright, Austrian Wolf says there's a nice picture for the winglet things. And he sends a link. Thank you, Wolfgang. Is it also possible, can moderators pin comments, or is that just me? Maybe we need an AMS Live library of informative things aviation related. Right, well, we had to wait a while, but we are going to see another heavy right now. It is KLM flight 644 777-200 ER, coming back to Amsterdam from New York JFK, where this airplane left from 6 hours precisely, according to flight radar. The airplane is 17 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in April 2006. You might also pick up on the tractor that is coming closer and closer. That's a good question, Dennis. I'm not sure about trademarks and SkyTeam logo. I'm already hoping that airline carriers aren't going to make a fuss about the tails of the different airliners that we have at our disposal. I also have the Airbus logo as an emoji, so not sure if that is all allowed. YouTube never warned me or anything, but that is not to say that it might not be legal. I'm not sure. Stefan is asking if it is already blowing harder at Polderbaan. Well, in fact, it is very constant. 15 to 16 knot wind. We did have one METAR that said 19 knots with gusts up to 29. The windsock over there does look a bit more erect than it was before. Subjectively, I would say it isn't blowing a lot faster, but looking around me, also looking at the chimney smoke, does look like it is leaving the chimney a bit more horizontally than before. It's definitely not quieting down, that's for sure. Right, is this the calm before the storm? Got a couple of heavies inbound. Dreamliner arriving from Rio de Janeiro is now number 2 on the glide slope already, and flying downwind / base in the vicinity of Alkmaar is a Dreamliner 10 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. In between Embraers, the first airplane to arrive is going to be an E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Frankfurt, and sandwiched in between the Dreamliners is going to be an Embraer 190 that is arriving from Luxembourg. somewhere over there we should start seeing the E2 Embraer pretty soon. Don't have it just yet visually. Oh, now I'm feeling a gust of wind that does feel like momentarily the wind was picking up a little bit more, and there is the E2. Just look at the amount of seagulls over here. They're everywhere in the field. A traffic jam of seagulls. A whole line. Nice to see. So that's probably the unit with the seats in front of the tractor. You can see that there is a pipe leading to the back, probably with seeds. Morgen, are you sowing? Ben je aan het zaaien? So one of the viewers that is watching was right after all. You are sowing. The seeds is in the front, right? Yes, yes. Okay, so it is indeed in the front part. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you. So indeed confirmed what was mentioned already before. The guy is sowing the field, and the bin in the front of the tractor is in fact the container with the seeds. So the seagulls are having a field day, literally and figuratively. Alrighty, E2 butt shot, here we go. And indeed, AMS Farming Live. Food for thought. Second channel, AMS Farming Live. Right. Next up, flying AMS Live logo. It is coming home from Rio de Janeiro. KLM flight 706, 7879 Dreamliner. This airplane has been flying for 10 hours and 36 minutes to get here. First flight, August 2016, 7 years ago. Hey, yo, this Capital says AMS Live is sponsored by BBB. I knew it. That's the newly established farmers party in the Netherlands, for those of you who don't know. Taking this moment to quickly replace the battery of my heated glove that has run out. Are getting cold quite the one hand is getting cold quite quickly. Unfortunately, still temperatures relatively close to zero with the wind. Not exactly barbecue weather just yet. However, that is going to be a matter of time. Tomorrow we're going to be in double digits centigrade, so that is 50 plus Fahrenheit. In the meantime, you might also pick up on the sound of a departing airplane passing left of me to the north from runway 24. Alright, that is a new battery loaded. Switch it on and put it on. Right. Hey, Mr. Biker. Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well, Paul. Embraer 190 up next. KLM flight 1740. Returning from Luxembourg. Before the next Dreamliner is arriving, we can see how the tractor, the farmer is making a wide corner. Has just sown the lands, or at least a big part of it. I'm not sure if he's done already or if he's going to continue at a different location. The seagulls still having a field day. All morning they were following the tractor in its wake as it sowed the seeds. It also plowed over the land, so seeds and maybe also some worms. Definitely early bird catching the worm. And all the early birds are in the field next to me. This is KLM flight 622, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner returning from Atlanta, Georgia. Airplane 3 years old, first flight August 2020. Lewis says that the farmer has no ADS-B. Yeah, I think you're not going to see it on flight radar, unfortunately. Even in the tracks over here, the crew members are having a look. And all the seagulls in the Netherlands have congregated over here in the field. More ambulances. That's the third now today that we have seen. Are they moving patients from one to another hospital today or something? Anyway, another airplane with big ass engines and no winglets, sharklets, or whatever you would like to call those appendages. This is KLM flight 1780, an E2 Embraer 195 touching down after coming back from Hamburg, where it left from 50 minutes ago. Doesn't look like a hamburger, but it did arrive from Hamburg. Oh yeah, this is the new camera. The XA40 is still... Well, I brought it away to the store where I bought it from, and they were going to send it to Canon. They first will investigate what is wrong and if it falls under warranty or not. If it doesn't, then they're going to tell me how much it is going to cost if I'm going to give the green light for the repair. If it falls under the warranty, they're going to fix it. And in the latter case, it was expected that it was going to take 6 to 8 weeks or so. So I won't be hearing anything anytime soon. Now this camera is basically a clone of the camera I was using before already. The only thing that has improved is more pixels in the screen and a bit higher brightness in potential. Yeah, and the electronic viewfinder also supposedly has more pixels, but I never use that. This is KLM flight 1754, an Embraer 190 arriving from Bremen, the north of Germany. Short flight time, therefore not too far away, 154 nautical miles according to flight radar, and it has taken this airplane 41 minutes to get here. The airplane 10 years old. Goedemorgen trouwens maar, Anja. And all other viewers as well. And I'm saying good morning, but over here it's just 1 minute past noon, so good afternoon I should have said. That's all the vodka that I have sneakily been drinking. Makes everything I say have less sense than before. Our next airplane is going to be SAS flight 821, an A320 arriving from Oslo. Now, in 25 minutes or so from now, the A380 is expected to land. Is it in Dutch airspace already, and has it been assigned to runway center already? Roughly around the same time, we're also expecting a 747. And indeed, Dave, that's exactly what I'm doing. Blame it on the vodka. Yeah, either that or my old age, but each time I bring that up, you older people keep saying, well, you're 41, you're not old already. You're still in diapers and blah blah blah. So cannot use that excuse just yet. Hey, that's good news, Marissa. Thank you. Air China Cargo 747 has been confirmed for 1-8 ride. That is good news. And Lars says that the A380 is now above Enschede. Can already see it fly. Right, SAS flight 821, A320 arriving from Oslo. Touching down after an hour and 34 minutes of flight. This airplane has been flying now since July 2007, making it 16 years old. Old enough to drive a moped in the Netherlands. Mind you, you do still need to get your driver's license, and that has become increasingly more challenging. I think rightly so, but that's besides the point. Back in my day, you used to have to do a theory exam only, 50 multiple choice questions, and you had to pass by answering 45 right at least, I think, if I recall correctly. These days there's also a practical exam as well, just like with a motorcycle or car. And Roshan asks if I'm waiting for the A380. Well, I was just thinking about wrapping it up after having been out here. No, just kidding. Of course I'm going to stay for the A380. In fact, we began a bit later today. So if there's interesting traffic coming this way, might hold out for a bit longer. Happy New Year, everybody. That's the bird controller. Also quick pan back to Sun Express. arriving from Izmir, Turkey. John asks if they are shooting the plane spotters. You're goddamn right, that's why I'm wearing a bulletproof vest. If you look at the pictures in the community section, when you see me wear my parka, I look a bit chunky. That's because I'm also wearing a bulletproof vest. You saw it before, there were hunters here not too long ago. Literal shots being fired here. Bird controllers too. It's the wild, wild west out here. Mayhem. So what runway has the A380 been assigned to? Is it also coming this way or will it land on center? Our next airplane is another Sun Express 737-800 arriving from Kayseri. Hopefully I placed the emphasis properly. Kayseri? 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 Hey, good news. Thank you, Marissa. A380 1-8 right. Polderbaan. Thanks, Yorkshire. That is good news. Maybe, just maybe, we get to see them back to back. Wouldn't that be something? Man, that would make a nice thumbnail. We already were lucky enough to see the 747 that landed on this runway earlier, immediately following the A340. Did not result in a glide slope shot seeing them both together, but we did get to see them during the rollout in the same shot. I was already thinking that maybe that was going to be the thumbnail of today's stream. But now I'm thinking, wouldn't it be something if we were able to capture a glide slope shot of both the A380 and the 747 together? Meanwhile, another butt shot. No time to linger because Latam Cargo is up next. 767-300ER. Operated by Latam Cargo Colombia. Uh-oh, and it's coming from Miami. What does it contain? What is it transporting? Latam Cargo Colombia arriving from Miami. Well, then again, we could use some snow over here. We had some yesterday and now we seem to have run out. Latam Cargo flight 1507. Arriving from Miami, Florida. Flight time 7 hours and 24 minutes. The airplane is 15 years old. Its first flight was in May 2008. Vueling A320neo behind this airplane. Arriving from Barcelona. Yeah. Okay, well, not the loudest of landings, but we are going to get compensated for that with a butt shot. Maybe we should get some big ass speakers over here in the grass and play Let's Get Loud from Jennifer Lopez on max volume so that the pilots get a hint of what they need to do when they land over here. Alright, our next airplane is going to be Vueling Flight 8309, Airbus A320, arriving from Barcelona. Flight time 2 hours and 2 minutes, that is par for the course, I think. Yeah. The Vueling that we are now seeing approach is 4 years old. First flight was in July 2019. Marissa says it looks like we are going to get 2 narrow bodies in between the Queen and the A380, so that is a bit of a bummer, but all things considered, we're definitely lucky today. With the exception of the 2 747s that landed on runway center, which we did get to see quite well with the extended digital zoom. The quad squad today landing on Polderbaan. I'm wondering, is that because there is still ice on runway center? Probably not, because they did use it for landings earlier in the morning. I'm still seeing all traffic come to Polderbaan still. Normally speaking, we would have seen a second period of parallel arrivals. I'm also not seeing traffic go to runway 27 or another runway. Now, folks, mind you, in a few weeks from now, I think it was from February 19th. I think February 19th, runway 0624, the Cargolux is going to close for major maintenance, and it's going to stay closed until shortly before King's Day, or just around King's Day, so the end of April. Not sure what that's going to mean for us in terms of runway usage. Last year we also saw one of the runways being closed for I think it was Polderbaan back then. Did make for some nice opportunities at different runways. Marissa says, I don't believe it's busy enough yet to use 2 runways. That could also be the case. It's not very busy, which makes me wonder why that is. Is the weather so poor in major parts of Europe that a lot of flights have been cancelled over wind or other conditions? Not sure. Either way, our next airplane is an Aer Lingus, not in the latest standard livery but in the previous one, which eventually given enough time will become a retro livery. But it's not the nice retro livery that we saw yesterday. Shamrock Flight 604, arriving from Dublin, and that is normally a destination that is around an hour of flying away. Today this airplane has been flying 56 minutes to get to where it is right now from Dublin. You can hear it, but you cannot see it. Another airplane departing to the north. And this airplane is 14 years old, Shamrock Flight 604. First flight was in February 2009. The next airplane after this one is now turning onto the glide slope further north. Not yet visible for us to see, unfortunately. Number 190 from KLM returning from Cardiff. Yeah. And thank you, Marissa, who was telling us that that was China Cargo Airlines 777 that we heard flying over. There's your little shamrock on the front end of the engine casing. Hey gal! Or at least that's what it says over here. Ah, it looks like Pilot Sander has returned for the arrival of the big birds, which of course have now been assigned to this runway. Very special livery coming in today. The destination Dubai. Nice and colorful. Right. Where is that next airplane? Not seeing it. Wait a minute. Yeah, I do now see it. Has just become visible. KLM flight 1060 Embraer 190 arriving from Cardiff, where it left from 50 minutes ago. The airplane 12 years old. First flight January 2012. And Susanna is informing us that the 747 is above her house now. It's coming. And indeed, I think it is going to be the next airplane after this Embraer. Nothing coming in from the west at the moment. There is a nice train of airplanes coming from the east. The pack being led by the 747, sandwiched in between an A321neo from Turkish and an Embraer 190 from KLM, and then the Emirates A380. Wind picking up momentarily. There is a nice gap after this airplane has landed, which I intend to use to update the weather and take you through the METAR. First, let's have a look at the landing of KLM flight 1060, the Embraer 190 returning from Cardiff. A 52-minute flight thus far. The airplane 12 years old. First flight January 2012. Yeah, that's 12 plus 12 equals 24. That is correct. Now we have quite a few viewers watching right now. Welcome one and all. I see a lot of blue spanners in the chat. Don't let that scare you if you're new to the channel and you want to chime in, if you have a question, if you want to say hi. It's not mandatory to interact with us, but do feel free to do so. Everybody here is very friendly, and if you have questions, a lot of the people over here are very knowledgeable as well, so if you have any questions, shoot. Haha, hey there Russ, hey there Brabant. Fussadar Chine asks, have a little crosswind today? It is a little bit. I was planning on showing you the weather in a moment. Well, let's first pick something that is interesting for you guys to also look at. We're going to see the airplane taxi in a few minutes, and it will appear Let me see if I can get the screen in screen such that you guys can still see the airplane, like so. There we go. We have a few minutes before the 747 and the other airplanes are coming. Let's do a refresh of runway usage. We are standing right here, the Polderbaan. This is the only runway being used for arrivals. Departures take place from runway 24. This is the runway that is going to be out of commission from next month somewhere until April for major maintenance. The other runway is being used is the Aalsmeerbaan. Let's do a refresh of the weather over here. So yes, there is a little bit of crosswind. There is now a 16 knot wind or 4 below 4 blowing from the south mostly, but a little bit from the west. So there is a little bit of crosswind indeed. Visibility at ground level 10 kilometers or more. It's overcast at 1200 feet. The temperature is rising 4 degrees Celsius, so that is roughly 38 Fahrenheit. Did I say Fahrenheit? 4 Celsius and 38 Fahrenheit. The air pressure is 1016 hectopascals, and no SIG means no significant changes expected in the upcoming 2 hours. This is the weather radar. No precipitation expected in the next 3 hours. We are standing a little bit left of the yellow square, and the big birds are coming. The big birds are coming. Let me quickly paste the meter that I just copied into the ticker for you guys so you can read it back when you want to. There we go. Alrighty. Now, as you guys could see on the map just now, this runway is furthest removed from the main platform area. The Polderbaan, as it's called, runway 18 right, 36 left, is the latest addition to the network of runways of Schiphol Airport. The original ATC tower, the main ATC tower I should say, not the original, it is the second one I think, but the current main tower is over there. Adjacent to it is the terminal building and the main platform area and the gates. Airplanes landing over here first have to taxi all the way to that area along the line of trees over there. That's a 10 to 15 minute taxi ride before getting back to the main platform area. And as you guys can imagine, when visibility is less than optimal, the main tower is too far away to see from what is going on over here, which is why this runway has its dedicated tower. Zooming all the way out, you can see just how far the main tower is removed from where the airplanes are landing over here. Okay, the waiting game has begun. The 747 from Air China Cargo is aligned on the glide slope according to flight radar. I think the clouds are still in the way. This is approximately where it should become visible anytime now. The airplane we are awaiting, first of all, is Air China Cargo, a Boeing 747-400, arriving from Chengdu, China, where it left from 10 hours and 8 minutes ago. The airplane we're about to see is a 747-400 freighter, 17 years old. First flight was in April 2006. There are 2 airplanes behind it that are narrow bodies. And the third airplane behind the 747 is going to be the Emirates A380. The number 2 is going to be a Turkish A321 Neo arriving from Istanbul. And following that is an Embraer 190 from KLM arriving from Düsseldorf. And after that, the A380. In the meantime, the 747 has become visible. It is the third one of the show. The other 2 landed on... Or is this the fourth one? It is the fourth one. Where's the third one? No, it's at least the third one, possibly even the fourth one. I think it is the fourth one. We saw 2 747s land on the center runway and one over here. This is the second one, if I'm not mistaken. We also saw the A340 land earlier. It is the fourth one, because there was a 747 behind the A340 immediately. So if you want to see the entire squad, but you don't want to look for it, come back later. After I'm done streaming, I always make a list of the highlights of the show with timestamps so that you can immediately go to the arrival or departure of the plane highlighted. Hopefully this queen is heavy and is going to use the reversers so that we get a nice loud landing. Let's look and listen. Well, that was definitely an auditory disappointment. A nice landing, but in terms of the sound, very subdued. Still, gotta love it. The queen of the sky. And if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to drop a like. Make sure that this content gets spread among other aviation enthusiasts such as yourself. And by liking the stream, if you haven't done so already, you're doing that. Making the content available to other people interested in aviation. Alright, next up, Turkish flight 1961. A321neo arriving from Istanbul. Normally speaking, about a 3-hour flight. Also a big thank you to John, who just now gifted a membership. I see that Dr. Zoid Dusty was the recipient of the gifted membership of John. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, Dr. Zoid Dusty. And once again, thank you, John, for gifting a membership. Dr. Zoid, don't forget to say thank you to John. Thank you so much, John, and welcome once again, Dr. Zoid. Now, let's quickly head back to the camera. Embraer 190 up next. And after that, the A380. Is it visible already? Why, yes, it is. There it is. So just a quick look to see if it is Captain Willy or not. And then it is back to the main dish. Those were already quite low. This is not Captain Willy. So let's go back to the main course. The main course being a very special livery from Emirates, Emirates flight 147. And I accidentally pressed on the airport of origin. So all of a sudden my flight radar app brought me to Dubai. Not a good idea. Here we go. This is Emirates, the destination Dubai, special livery coming in from Dubai, the daily flight from Emirates between Dubai and Amsterdam, the A380. It is on the way now for 6 hours and 47 minutes. Normally speaking, this is a flight that takes around 6.5 hours. So it has run into a little bit of headwind. The airplane is 9 years old. The first flight was in January 2014. Now, AMS Live members have access to custom emojis. The standard livery, the new standard livery, ribbon tail, and of course the A380 depiction. We don't have a destination Dubai special livery, just a custom emoji just yet. Let's look and listen to the landing. The apartment building on wheels has landed. And Dirk, I think we know by now that you hate emojis and don't want to become a member. Please refrain from keep saying that again. I think most of us will know it by now. Be part of the magic. Wise words indeed. Wise words indeed. Now, meantime, as the big airplane was approaching, let me look in the chat. First of all, a big thank you to JD, who just now gifted 5 memberships. Don't forget to say Dankeschön if you are one of the recipients of the memberships that JD just now gifted. Above and beyond, thank you so much for that. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, the members that just became a member because they got gifted a membership by JD. Now, Austrian Wolf, Dankeschön. Really, you shouldn't have. You're doing more than enough as it is already as a moderator. But nonetheless, he just now gifted 10 memberships. Don't forget to say Dankeschön if you're one of the 10 recipients. Thank you so much, Austrian Wolf. Really, you shouldn't have. You're doing more than enough as it is already as a moderator. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, all new members. Now, as if that wasn't enough already, scrolling through the chat. Also another big thank you to John, also gifting 5 memberships just now. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, all those new members. Don't forget to say thank you if you are one of the recipients to the person who just now gifted you the membership. I see Veerle also coming back in the chat. Welcome Veerle, good to see you, hope all is well. And I hope I haven't missed any other messages in the meantime. Now, sorry if I kept you guys looking at something boring in the meantime, but a lot happened in the chat. I don't want to forget that, but also I was very busy filming at the moment. Talking about what I said earlier, how airplanes landing over here still have a significant taxi back to the main platform area. You can see that right there. And Ryanair is following suit. Combo shot of the 737 and the A380. Now, are we going to see some more heavies anytime soon? Does look like a lot of narrow bodies are coming this way. Right, next up, Transavia flight 6820 737-800 arriving from Ljubljana in Slovenia. Flight time 1 hour 39 minutes. The airplane 8 years old, first flight April 2015. Hey Michael, also present. I hope you were in time to see the 747 and the A380 just now. Next up is an A319 from EasyJet arriving from Bristol, flight 22925, 52 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 16 years old. Its first flight was in May 2007. Embraer 190 behind it, but not yet visible. The lights of the bird control vehicle also visible in the background. Michael only saw the A380 after it was taxiing. Making coffee instead, mate. Maurice is signing off. You're welcome, mate. Glad you enjoyed it. Hope to see you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Well, I'm having a look at Flight Radar to see what is coming, but it does look like a lot of the big airplanes are still quite far away. Let's see, there is the Saudia Dreamliner arriving from Jeddah that is now entering Dutch airspace. What runway is that going to be assigned to? Can somebody look that up? Because everything is still going to the Polderbaan and not to center. I'm not sure if they're going to reopen it or if they're going to keep it closed for the time being. Hey, graag gedaan, Simon. You're welcome. Daniel says 18 right. I'm assuming that is the runway the Saudia Dreamliner is going to land on. Screw you, Rick. In that case, you need to come over, bring a case of beer along, and I will first instruct you how to operate the camera so that when I can take a bathroom break, you can follow in my lead. And no Jesper, no go-arounds. So, if I understand correctly, the Saudia Dreamliner has already been assigned to Polderbaan. If that is the case, then I think that is going to be the last airplane for today, because I'm not seeing a lot of heavies coming in. So similar to yesterday. Oh, Saudia to center, Paul says. Well, in that case, too bad. I am still going to stick around for it. I think that's going to be the last airplane for me for today. Beer and batteries. Oh, you're right, JD. Need more batteries for the heated gloves. The rest I can power with the power station. That can hold out 8 hours. Streaming marathon sounds like a great idea for the summer. Well, that's not a one-man job. I don't know how other streamers do it, but that's definitely not good for your bladder longevity. Plus, there are a lot of boring bits over here at Schiphol. I was talking to Bart recently and we both agreed that if anything, Schiphol should reduce the number of runways, not expand the number. Go to a configuration similar to Heathrow, just have 2 runways, have everything move along those runways. Much more interesting for us, the viewer. Seeing both inbound and outbound traffic simultaneously at from the same runway is much more interesting than what you can see over here. Austrian Wolf speaking on behalf of Rick, saying that Rick is going to volunteer to help me. Also a couple of biz jets that I'm seeing on flight radar that are now moving in the direction of runway 22 over the city center of Amsterdam. In the meantime, Transavia flight 208 is approaching. It is a 737-800 arriving from Kittilä. Flight time 3 hours and 3 minutes as we speak. A 6-year-old airplane, first flight March 2017. And thank you so much, John, who says, I love this coverage. Doing the best I can. Glad you're enjoying it. Hope everybody is. Now it's a bit breezy and has been all day so far. However, the most severe winds are expected overnight in early morning tomorrow, when Storm Isha is passing over the British Isles. Wind is also expected to pick up over here. Day and night difference in terms of temperatures. Tomorrow double-digit centigrade, and today still around freezing, or at least still at this moment. Fusro Darshine says thanks for the stream. Sleep time for me now. Groetjes uit Nieuw-Zeeland. Wow, thank you for joining for such a long time from such a far away destination. If I'm not mistaken, 12-hour time difference, right? So definitely time to go to bed then. And all the best over there in New Zealand from us over here in the Netherlands. The next airplane, Lufthansa flight 2304 A320, arriving from Munich. Battling the wind a little bit, banking left and right, but actually we haven't seen any airplanes today that got into serious trouble getting even close to a go around. The wind still mostly from the south, i.e. headwind mostly. Dennis is going for a beach walk with the missus. Do enjoy that, don't get sandblasted. Veerle also going out for a walk in Frankfurt. Enjoy, Veerle. Hope to see you again soon. And Ralph says, just found out this channel, enjoying it very much. Glad to hear that, Ralph. Glad to hear that. Now, is that bird control vehicle driving over the runway? I think it is. That is interesting because there's also an airplane not too far behind. Or is it adjacent to the runway? Hard to see. Now it's definitely off the runway, that's for sure. Just in time, the next airplane already getting close by. Air France flight 1640, A320, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Took 45 minutes for this airplane to get here from Paris. That is about par for the course, 40 to 45 minutes. The airplane is 21 years old. The first flight was in November 2002. Russell still sitting in the grass there. Still a lot of seagulls behind me. The farmland where the farmer was sowing seeds earlier today. And a little Air France booty shot to boot. Rick also getting out of here today. See you on the next one, Rick. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm sticking around for the Saudia Dreamliner like I did yesterday. Little dessert after the heavies. Still quite a lot of seagulls in the field. And our next airplane is KLM flight 1766, arriving from Frankfurt, and number 175, flight time 52 minutes. The airplane is 7 years old. First flight was in March 2016. Hey, Big L, good morning, mate. Mate, if you just tuned in, then you missed the quad squad. You missed so much. We had 4 747s, 2 of which landed on this runway. One immediately after the A340 that also landed on Polderbaan, and a couple of minutes ago the A380 and a 4th 747. Now, I also see that the A320neo from Kuwait Airways is approaching. Will it be going to center or will it be going to Polderbaan? Still a bit hard to see from over here. Big Al just woke up. Forgot there's a, what is it, 6-hour time difference? East Coast, Orlando, Florida. Yeah, that's 6 hours, right? Oh, yeah, indeed, Liwe. Almost forgot. Also the flyby of the Hindenburg. It was spectacular. It set the whole atmosphere, the whole sky on fire. Or is that is that a bad joke? I agree, JD. Looks like the Kuwait A320 is also coming to Polderbaan. Saudi Dreamliner flying over Markermeer, flying base. And this is an EasyJet A320neo arriving from Geneva, flight 27868. Again, those 5-digit flight numbers. Whoever thought of that and thought it was a good idea must have been drunk. Flight time 1 hour and 17 minutes. Brand new airplane, first flight June 2023. Warm for a few moments. Absolutely, Liwe. Fireplace in the sky. Alright, another A320neo up next. Kuwait Airways arriving from, let's see, Kuwait City. Wow, it's just as remarkable as Air Malta coming in from Malta. A320neo, flight 127, 6 hours and 11 minutes of flight time. It's almost as long as, or about as long as JFK in an A321neo from JetBlue. It's a long time to sit in a narrow body airplane. Has anybody ever flown on Kuwait Airways on the A320neo? I'm just wondering if they are using them for such long distances. Do they use the same configuration as they do on short haul flights, i.e. pretty cramped, or do you get a bit more leg room? Anyway, this airplane 4 years old, first flight August 2019. It does look like the first airplane to the center runway is coming. Looks like the E2 Embraer arriving from Milan is making its way over there. Or not. let's see, it is at, yeah, it's 2,000 feet. Yeah, that is the first airplane to the center runway, which now finally has opened up. With the exception of a stint in the beginning of the stream, Polderbaan, mostly the only runway for arrivals, luckily. To all the pilots, not a single go around so far. No landing that was remotely close to a go around, as far as I remember at least. Did see a few wobbly arrivals, but all in all, so far everything went well. Right, so did I have digital zoom? I had it disabled. Let's re-enable it for the occasion. Traffic going to center, also coming to Polderbaan, but they're spaced such that we can do first follow one and then the other. This is the first airplane to go to runway center, E2 Embraer 195, KLM flight 1620, arriving from Milan. Flight time 1 hour 25 minutes. A 2-year-old airplane, first flight November 2021. Now, it's definitely getting a bit wobbly. Let's see if we can. Definitely getting a bit more challenging to follow the airplanes over such a big distance with such a big level of zoom with the wind today. That is the image stabilizer that is also helping do that. Let's see if we can maybe do better without image stabilizer. Most of you who frequently watch know I have a love-hate relationship with image stabilizer. It does mitigate some vibrations. Yeah, this is no I already see that this is making it far worse. Back to enabling it. There we go. Silly me, what was I thinking? Right, our next airplane is EasyJet flight 23853, an A319, arriving from Milan, coming here to Polderbaan. Flight time 1 hour 28 minutes, Austrian registered. It's the OELQQ. She's 14 years old. Her first flight was in March 2009. Right, and the last airplane of the day is approaching runway center. Saudia Dreamliner arriving from Jeddah, flight 215. Yesterday it was in the 75 years special livery. Did not have a look yet to see if this was a special livery today. Probably not, but let's see. broad shot coming in. Right, now the last airplane of the day, it is coming, but not before one visit to the laptop. To say a massively big thank you to JD, who just now gifted yet another 5 memberships. That is above and beyond, mate. Thank you so much for that. Celebrating 800 likes by the looks of it. Thank you so much, everybody who has liked the show so far. Thanks for the support. And if you guys are liking what you see, but you haven't done so already, don't forget to add to the pond of likes. This is one of those cases where more is better. It helps to spread this content to other people such as yourselves, who might also be interested in videos and live streams like this. Our last airplane is Saudia Flight 215, a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Jeddah, where this airplane took off from 5 hours and 59 minutes ago. I'm waiting for it to hit 6 hours exactly, but that is not happening yet. The airplane is 7 years old. The first flight was in April 2016. Combo shot coming up with KLM in the foreground. Right, well, zooming all the way out. It's almost a telescope, this camera, sometimes. But I am going to wrap it up, folks. It was another beautiful stream. I had great fun and I was pleasantly surprised by all the heavies, most of them coming to this runway, and I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I have. A massive big thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in here today. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. I'm not sure if tomorrow the weather will allow me to go out. I will have another look tonight and tomorrow. If not, then later in the week, hopefully. If you want to stay updated of upcoming live streams, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that notifications get sent whenever I schedule another live stream. For now, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks once again for joining me here. A big thank you to everybody who became a member. A big thank you to the donators of memberships for donating those memberships again today. And a big thank you to the people sending super chats and super stickers or purchasing something from the merch store. The support you guys are giving is overwhelming and the channel would not be anything without you guys, so thank you all so much. Also a massive big thank you to the moderators for once again keeping the stream nice and friendly and accessible. You guys rock, you all do. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, be safe, be warm, and I hope I will see you again soon on the next one. For now, bye bye!